So, it's game number 1 in the upper right. He is the mad chef, always cooking in the kitchen from Poland. It's Aureil. And the bottom left, the Vanguard player. Their name is just a sloth, but you know them as Nina. And Nina promised me. By the way, Secluded Grove is a night map. It's probably a little bit too dark right now, but I do like the lighting. I think it looks really... It does look really nice. As we see the double scans go down, see what's happening in the main base, see what's happening in the natural. Aureil, well prepared for the nonsense, and I have not seen what it is that Aureil is cooking up. I've heard rumors that they look broken. I've heard rumors that they have been in the kitchen and they got some fun stuff up their sleeves. I don't know what it is. I played a bunch of Celestials, but I played a bunch of Celestials trying the patch out, so I just kind of won last night. I don't know what high-level Celestial players are doing in this matchup. I don't know what high-level Vanguard players are doing in this matchup. You know, I got some ideas, but we're just going to go and try things out. Nina, you told me you'd give me good games, and you're just bob rushing. Nina. Yeah, this is the build she used last patch. This is the this is the tier 2, or I guess tier 3 bob rush, where tier 3 bobs build much faster, and she's just gonna sentry rush the main base, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, buckle up, strap in. The bobs are here, and they're gonna build a base. Soon to be servos, you know, that'd be nice. But we got a sentry post. It's gonna kill off the prism, and into the main base they go, and you're not allowed to mine anymore. Have fun, Aureil. Hope it's a good time. It is just out of range. Sovereign's Watch just doesn't kill enough things fast enough. There's a long and short of it. Yeah, some of the bobs may go down. Not even gonna go down. They're gonna go get, you know, microed out of. And Sovereign's Watch is not enough. So there's a third base on the way on the left side here. Main base is gonna eventually have to get lifted. Aureil is gonna play this patient. Aureil is gonna go and probably wait until pretty late into things to go lift the collection array off and go from there. But the prisms certainly have to run away. They're gonna have to go over to the left side. And one of the benefits of this is, by the way, this new production hologram looks awesome. I was gonna say, you know, I think there's a world where maybe there's a sentry post that doesn't reach the array, but that is not true. So this Luminite mine, this collection array, excuse me, is dead. In fact, I am very surprised that Aureil has not lifted it up and tried to send it elsewhere. Natural is actually going to stay alive. There's a sentry post that's going to get taken down. So there is that. 2 base mining for Nina for Aureil right now. Remember, behind this Nina, not a lot of mining. 8 workers on Therium, 4 workers on Luminite building. She's got a barracks, but not really a lot. So this collection array is going to run away. This collection array is in green energy, but it just doesn't regenerate enough. That being said, you add in a couple Argents. They're going to soak some damage. They're going to be able to do a little bit more damage, and eventually we're going to have Sovereign's Watch. So Aureil, maybe. Nina, this is gross. Nina, what have you done? Are you happy, Nina? Are you happy that you're proxying Hornets now to go kill off all the prisms? Does that spark joy to you? Do you think this is fair? Honorable? Sovereign's Watch, by the way, is not going to kill the sentry post. There's too much repair. So, yeah. And unfortunately, because of how this all works with all the Argents here, there's... Oh, never mind. It's okay, sentry post is going to go down. So Aureil is on 1 base mining. A Hornet arrives, and that's going to kill off this array eventually. Actually, there's a lot of damage to the array, all things considered. So the Hornet is going to go. It's going to be a 1 base Aureil against a 1 base Nina. Nina building a couple more workers. In fact, these bobs need to go home. They would like to mine, but I don't know that they're going to be allowed to do so. The Argents, it may take them a moment because they don't have a ton of energy available to them, but these bobs are not going to be allowed to go back home. They're trying, desperately trying. Actually, oh, never mind. They're a little bit faster. The stutter step micro is not exactly what it needs to be. So maybe a couple of these bobs get back home. Maybe a couple of them do. But it's only like 2. And at the end of the day, this does mean that Aureil has been able to stabilize for the most part. Main base is eventually going to be turned into something. The hangar bay is building more Hornets. But 2 Hornets do not beat this number of Argents, and the Argents continue to rally across. This is unintentionally, this is unintentionally 1 base Argent. Just a very different way to get there. So we got a mech bay done. It's not really going to do enough. There's a sentry post, and that's just going to get bursted down. And these Hornets, yes, they do have a bubble. That is very nice of them. There's only 1 of them. And a return to hangar does not bring them back to the main base. It sends them onto the other side of the map. So that is not really safety whatsoever. And it's like, yeah, you got a repair post. That's beautiful. The bombs are just going to get targeted down. There are enough Argents here right now, especially with Purify, that this is just not a solution. Nina has tried to go, and she's Aureil, has tried to be as dishonorable as possible, which this is Nina. We've seen her StarCraft 2 career. This should not surprise anyone, but she is dead. She is very, very dead. The Hornets are not going to do enough. All the Bobs are mostly dead, if not dead, and Nina is going to be forced to tap out in this game number 1. Just a little bit too many Argents. Not quite enough damage done. So we saw game 1. We saw turret rush. Nina was dishonorable. Extremely dishonorable Vanguard player, and she was punished for it. Extremely punished for it. But hopefully in game 2, yep, this is going to be an expand build. We're not going to see Nina go and just turret rush everything. And actually, Bike Rush made a good point that Bob health reduced by a little bit makes it just a little bit easier to eventually take down. Now, it doesn't delay the sentry post going up or anything like that, but it did mean that Bobs were able to get kind of paired away here or there. It meant that the Sovereign's Watch was able to kill a couple Bobs a little bit more, and it just removed some of the critical mass of Bob repair. You saying need to sacrifice her main, or should have sacrificed her main base, run around with Hornets, and take out Aureil's main base would have been the play. Yeah, but Sovereign's Watch is probably the solution to that one. I think at that point, Nina was 14 supply to 60. She loses her main base, and then Hornets are not going to kill off enough Aureil stuff in time, especially not with the strike node there, because there was a strike node done. And then Aureil just runs home and kills off all the structures, and it just... That was not a position where a base trade was extremely viable. Frank saying, Therium Tycoon, if you mine more Therium, just like the smiley face sticker you get for walking to Walmart. It's also something that Celestials are going to get like every game, just because you get, what is it, 50 Therium every trip? Your Therium income scales a lot quicker as Celestials compared to the other factions. So if you win the game, you're probably going to get the Therium Tycoon for the most part. Oh, you mean take Aureil's main for herself, not destroy it? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Dude 215p pointing out the Fog of War visuals. That is a known bug, by the way. Apparently Tim Campbell in Discord has let everyone know that, okay, it's known that the Fog of War updating kind of jankily is something that they are aware of, that they were looking into. They don't have a fix just yet, but they know about it. They're working on it. Eco Cheese RL, the second he feels safe to tier up. Yeah, go 3 base before anything, which is exactly what Nina has done, by the way. This is a 3 command post before a barracks. So Nina is just doing the polar opposite. Game 1, yeah, we're going to pull like 8 Bobs onto the other side of the map. And we're just going to go, and it's going to cause some problems. I'm going to try to go kill you. Game 2, greedy as possible. Triple post before a barracks. Triple post before any sort of anything else. Okay, never mind. That's just a mech bay. So triple post into double mech bay. Hogs and hogs are going to be the way that Nina wants to play in this second game in our second game in our second series. As we have moved up to $200 on the Matcherino, which means that Wolfman donating $33 saying 0.3.0 rocks. Let's go. You're right. It is very pretty. I think there are some balance issues. I think part of it is the map design issues. I think there's just not enough Therium, even with the buffs to Therium mining, for Infernals to properly handle Vanguard in the late game. And Apparently, one base Argent is really strong in Infernal versus Vanguard or Infernal versus Celestial. But the game continues to improve, and all of that is solved by the fact that Eyelidge Red Stormy is really pretty. Oh, it looks so good. And there's also something weird with my middle mouse select where it's like, if I go and I'm like, if I click off center, sometimes it like moves me around. And that's a bug. That's a known bug. But hard to figure out what it is. But like sometimes it just, yeah, like right there, it jumps. It shouldn't be jumping. And I don't know. I assume that's something to do with like the new smoothing. I got the new smoothing turned off, but I assume it's something to do with the new smoothing. Did Tim actually say jankily? Rusty Shecky asks. I don't know. I didn't actually see the post. I was just told that it was the fog of war being a little stuttery was something that the Frost Giant people are aware of and are looking into. Per Delirus. Argents are strong and Infernal versus Vanguard confirmed. Yep, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, dude. 215p. For now, though, Nina is just creeping up. She's just macroing up. What are we on? Triple Mech Bay? Quad Mech Bay. That's a lot of Vulcans. And a Biolab as well. So do we have any... Where are my... There we go. Do we have any evacs or any medtechs on the field? It looks like the answer is no for the time being. But I would not be surprised. Where was that? Cyber. Or Bio. I keep thinking this is a cyber because it's a circle. The Biolab, I would not be surprised to see MedTech Adept going down pretty soon. Just nano swarming these things and going to town. Remember, it's also important to point out that so Kree were buffed in the late game. They weren't really touched in the early to mid game. But it's also important to point out that if we're talking about harassment later, these power banks are cheaper, but they're more power and they don't have as much HP. So they are somewhat vulnerable for harass by a bunch of hedgehogs later on, if that's something that Nita wants to go to. And it's arguably more impactful to go and kill off a lot of power and force the Celestial player to just sit in red power for forever than these new summoning whatever it is animation. It's maybe a little bit too big on the power banks, but they look, it's just really pretty. I assume they're going to tune it over time, but it's fun. Man, these strike nodes are just going to town. Look at the Kree. That is not what Nina wanted to do. She wanted to run away. Instead, she seized up every single hedgehog. And that is a dead Nina in this game number 2. She has no hotkey. She managed to unhotkey. Oh no! When she set up her custom hotkey, she forgot to set up unsiege. She must have waited. I don't know what she did, but it must be overlapping or some mistake with the custom hotkey. That is unfortunate. Can I imagine how well spherical wheels must perform on sandy beaches? Frank's around shit. The answer is they don't. For now, though, Kree are going to try to run it. There are a lot of hedgehogs here, so even though Nina lost a lot of hedgehogs for fairly cheaply, the army is still there for the most part. Overcharge is going to have to get popped. Hedgehogs are going to try to fight this, but the Bobs are just evaporating. Remember, Bobs took a 30 HP haircut. They are not nearly as tanky as they used to be. So Aureil has built himself a massive supply bleed. And remember, someone was asking earlier about how you judge things, how you judge whether who's ahead or who's behind. And Celestials have always been in this situation where they are not quite as one-to-one in terms of supply. Like, you can't look at a Celestial and say, oh, they're 200 supply versus 120. So clearly they are insanely far ahead because just how the supply, first of all, Celestial units don't tend to be very good. And second of all, the supply of their structures, of their economy tends to be a little bit, it's technically the same, but it has at times in the past been inflated. That being said, I think Nina is still in a Aureil's in a beautiful spot. Unseen Veil, no scouts to detect, no sentinels either. And it's just a full surround into an immediate explosion. Yep, there is a dash, but it gets denied immediately. And there we go, Gravity Flux. Yeah, okay, they actually kept that one, but There we go. Gravity Flux is going to get, everything's going to get taken down. And this army just gets, oh, Debilitate looks pretty cool now. Purify is going to get dropped down, adding a little bit more power. Do we have, okay, that's a random Animaster. But with Purify, with everything else, we're going to see this Vulcan get taken down. Second Vulcan just gets targeted, lifted, and dropped. And at the end of the day, the story is you can't lose that many Hedgehogs to anything and expect to win the game. Unfortunately, it seems like it was a hotkey issue, but Nina goes down 2-0. So we're into game 3. It's Boneyard. It is a map that has, by the way, look at the scan positioning right here. You're trying to catch to see if Nina's just pulling Bobs to run onto the other side of the map. This looks like it's probably, well, yep, there we go. There's going to be the overcharge. I said it was going to be an expand build, but it's going to be, looks like a barracks expand probably, where you go, you overcharge barracks, then you go overcharge. Never mind. Okay, one base build coming out of Nina. Probably expanding a little bit later on, but leaning into the pressure, getting Lancers so you can creep a little bit earlier, and we're going to have to see how this thing goes. Meanwhile, Aureil seems very interested in getting aggressive. Moving across the map, and Nina, you know what? Okay, here's what actually happened. Nina ran, she overcharged the Bob, she said, I'm gonna go expand. That sounds like fun. And then the scout sees the aggressive positioning of the arc ship and is like, oh, I know what's up. I know what's happening. I have to go defend. So it's gonna be quick as possible, mech bay. Hedgehogs are gonna be the order of the day. And we're gonna have to see just how well Nina's gonna be able to defend against a bunch of Argents into her face. I think one of the things you do want to make sure you have as we get ourselves set up for this, I think you make sure you got a sentry post in the main base, or like maybe right here just for repairs. I think that is probably very important. As the body blocking from Nina is cool. It's enough to do a little bit of damage to one of the Argents, but unfortunately, Lancers don't really do a lot of damage to Argents. It really does have to be the Hedgehogs. If you can get to critical Hedgehog mass, you're pretty happy. But it is truly getting up to that point. Now, remember, Hedgehogs, they get freely repaired. The damage does not stick to them. So that matters quite a bit. Now, if you're Nina, you would really have loved to be able to go and kill off all the slimes, take the healing camp. That would have been like ideal, and just hold the healing camp and get a little bonus healing on your entire army. Unfortunately, that's not what's happening. So doesn't have really any free healing on the Lancer and on the head, or the Lancer and the Scout, but Hedgehogs are starting to come out a little bit more. There's a sentry post on the way, so eventually there's going to be some repair-matic action that's going to be pretty nice. But Nina has to just kind of sit back at the time being. She is building technically 2 Hedgehogs at a time. Not quite enough money for it at the moment, but should be building the second one soon. There we go. Once this Bob returns back to mining, and it's batten down the hatches. Hold on, because Aureil, this is 3-chamber bunch of Argents, and we're gonna have to see how well the defense is gonna happen. You're just gonna play around the sentry post. That's the step of things. Just make sure you stay alive. Make sure you get repairs. 3 Hedgehogs versus a lot of Argents. Is it enough? Now the Bob has to be mass repairing here. Lancer, oh, that is a problem. You lost the sentry post. And I don't think that's what you wanted to do. Now, a couple sentry posts are here. Or excuse me, a couple morph cores are here. Just a little bit of extra damage on top. Bob's overcharged. Have to defend this. And, well, this is awkward, right? Because while Hedgehogs technically can handle the morph cores fairly nicely, you don't want to siege, because that is just license for the Argents to dive on top of things. So you're just kind of accepting this damage as much as possible. And Therium economy matters. If you don't have Therium, you're not building Hedgehogs. So Nina playing backwards as much as possible. The repair-matic is here. It's just healing off. Well, we're just going to come. These Bobs shouldn't really go down. I think you kind of want a second repair-matic, actually. It does seem like that's going to be the case. First Hedgehog will fall. And these morph cores are just a problem. The Argents are just a problem. Another overcharge is going to try to go keep this alive. The last Hedgehog is going to actually stay alive. And the Argents do see... Oh, body blocking? Maybe? The Argent numbers are decreasing, and at the moment you can get these Argents into a reasonable number, maybe you can go and siege up and knock down the morph cores, but the Argent numbers are the problem. And as long as they're there, as long as they feel comfortable to dive on top of all of these the Hedgehogs, it's not easy. It's almost like obviously you can't get a biolab, biokinetic lab, but it would be nice just to get like a single, really just a single exo in this repair-matic to try to keep yourself, just to keep the morph cores off you. But instead, well, one hedgehog finally has the room. It's going to start to go into anti-air mode, force some of these morph cores away, and that's going to force some damage to get made. Now, this army is going to get rallied straight into the fight. There's no rally time here whatsoever. And in fact, one of the hedgehogs gets low. Oh, it's going to go down. And the lack of therium mining, Nina never resaturated her therium. She has very little therium. So that becomes rather difficult. But that base is gonna, or that what am I blanking on the word? That production structure is gonna go down, and this seems like it's starting to go in Nina's favor just a little bit. The Argents are getting taken down, don't really have a lot of energy to them anymore, so they're just kind of dead. And as this as the chamber is much further back, I think Nina's held this. I think she's held this very nicely. Yeah, a couple Argents are popping out, but they just do not have the critical mass anymore. One hedgehog has to run away back to the repair-matic. It's going to get solved with time, and as these Argents get taken out, even as the hedgehogs die, this is totally fine for Nina. This is the point where she can go, and there we go. Yeah, siege them up, kill off the morph cores, say absolutely not. This is not something that you're allowed to do, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Aureil tap out, to be honest. Aureil is down 17 supply, only on one base, about to lose a lot of production. I think Nina should keep one hedgehog in the healing camp just for good measure, but its arc ship is gonna go down very fast. Aries asking, what do I mean by hedgehogs getting freely repaired? The repair turret, but in general, in Stormgate, repair doesn't cost anything. In StarCraft 2, it costs a fraction of the minerals, and I want to say maybe gas too. Can't remember. But it costs a fraction of the resource that it costs to make the unit. So it costs you a little bit more. And Stormgate is free. Yeah, it is gas too. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, sometimes I feel crazy. It's a quarter of the cost, yeah, to heal it to full. So it's still very efficient, but you can't go and repair for infinite time on 0 money. Which is actually, I've cast some games where the mass repair on a command post, or a mass repair on a command center, actually ended up killing the Terran. Because it just, they couldn't afford to build anything and they ran out. That being said, Aureil is going to lose their first map in this series. Nina, nice defense against the 1-base Argent. And that means we get map 4. Hell yeah. Welcome, welcome. It's game number 4. Nina was able to hold on against the 1-base Argent play that I've been told many things about. Told how absolutely busted it is. At least in the Infernal matchup. It still looks pretty strong against Vanguard, but not quite as strong. Look at the way someone was asking. Look at the shadows they're moving. Slowly progressing across the terrain as we move from day to night. I think we figured out that it's roughly a 3 minute, 15 second or so. By the way, look at the resource gathering animation for the collection arrays. Pretty cool, right? It's also one of those things where, like, there was a bug, and I guess it's still there, where if you, this was if you're playing a game, but if you kind of mouse back over your collection array after not looking at it for a little bit, it'll show you, like, was it plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15? Well, it'll just hit you with all the stuff at once, and I think they removed it. I think they fixed that one. But that does seem to be the thing as well, because I moused back over this, and instead of seeing just like the occasional particle, I just saw a big cluster of particles go up. For now, Nina opening up Hangar Bay first. Central Command. Okay, here we go. There's going to be a Hornet opening coming out of Nina. This is an entirely harass-based idea. You go, you kill off all the prisms, you cut the Celestial economy in half. That is the goal. That is absolutely what you're going for. So Nina, as soon as she has the money, builds the Hornet, sells the barracks as well, just to make it even better. And behind this, Natural's on the way. Only 2 overcharge bombs. It's still not going to be super fast, but it's fast enough. And behind this, see how much damage this the Hornets are able to get done. Remember, you do have Sovereign's Watch, but there are 3 bases, only 2 watches, and casting both of them likely puts Aureil into red range, so really diminishes the production time. Although, of course, there is the benefit that the new power banks, actually they go and they give you a little bit more power, so that works out a little bit better. Also, I like how they scaled them down a little bit. They're now 2x2 instead of, I think they were 4x4, 3x3. They were a little bit, I think they were 4x4, so they're a little bit smaller. They kind of, the scale seems to make a little bit more sense. The little power banks on the ground. But for now, here comes the level 2 Hornet. Bonus, a lot of damage. What is that? They're now doing, call it 20 damage a second against light units, which, by the way, prisms are light units. Plus, Predator State is a thing. Although that's only movement speed. It used to do attack speed, which means these prisms, one of them is going to go down. Second one is going to fall down. Promotion once again, a little bit more damage. Nina now and have to run away. And remember, by the way, veterancy on Hornets in particular, it kind of doubles the DPS bonus. On the one hand, it makes you do more damage, 10% more damage per level. It also increases your attack speed. So that's also more damage. It does both. It's pretty cool. If you are a Vanguard, if you are a Vanguard enjoyer, it's unfortunately that Hornet is just going to get taken down. And I don't think these Hornets have gotten enough yet. They've killed off like 2 prisms. They forced a couple Sovereign Watches, but Aureil seems to still be in the green. They have enough power banks. They were well prepared for it, and that means that they are fine. They really weren't, their production wasn't messed with too much. And now, do we see, nope. We're just on 5 chamber. I was gonna say, like, are we gonna go to higher tech? Because Aureil loves their Archangels, their Seraphim, their Animancer, Unseen Veil surrounds, a bunch of, they have a lot of fun. They enjoy being in the kitchen. But in this game, it's build a lot of Argents, run across the map. And we'll see how that goes. Did I hear a wolf howl as we get into the night? A la Warcraft 3 style? I don't know. I don't know that I noticed. I'm not saying you're wrong, Ares, but I didn't hear it. But again, I just may have not been me noticing or paying attention. I would believe it. We do get crickets on Secluded Grove, which is a night map, so there is that. But for now, Aureil continues to grow, continues to defend as well as possible against this harass. Now, once you get back into strike node range, you're going to be fine, certainly. I think you just put a strike node at every spot you're mining with prisms. And is that the cheapest solution? No, it's not. But it is a solution. And considering that Nina is down a base, considering that Nina sold a bunch of stuff to make this happen, I think it's absolutely worth doing. So let's see. Yeah, and this Nina going a bunch of Hedgehogs, which is a good solution against a bunch of Argents. Argents are heavy units. They do bonus damage versus heavy. Hedgehogs are light units and do bonus damage versus heavy. They are kind of the build order counter, although they have been making moves over... Yes, there's a wolf howl when night arrives. Awesome. I did not notice that, but that's pretty fun. No rooster though when the morning arrives. That, you're right, that is a bug report, especially because it's not on this map. I don't... No. There should be, I think, oh yeah, chickens. These chickens should be, well, I guess it's chicken, not a rooster. If there are chickens, there should be a rooster, and if there's a rooster... Oh, this guy's got a gobble. Anyway, they should go and they should crow when it hits morning, like it has done right now. Oh no, there is! We heard the rooster. Never mind. I just heard a rooster. Wait. It is good. No bug report needed, Orsenum. We are fine. Ian's got a 3rd base on the way, and where are we? Where is our... There's our arc station. Not an arc ship. And behind this, what do we have going? A bunch of Cabals is going to be the answer. Do we have upgrades on the Argents? No, we don't actually. Surprising. I thought we would at least get photocapacitors. Just bonus energy is really good. But stands, no upgrades just yet. No Kree either. And look at this, because of... Actually, Prisms are probably the best long-distance mining worker in the game. They get 50 therium every time they go mine, so it is pretty efficient to go do this. I mean, it's obviously not as efficient as dropping a therium purifier like right here, but it's safe. It means you don't have to commit too much, and you're still able to get a reasonable amount of therium without committing too much luminite for other things. So Kree, they do have roll-up. Kree run-bys are going to get started here, and still no photocapacitors. Still a little surprised about that one, but the Kree are in the army. We have a full setup here. Hornets are going to show up, and there we go. That gravity flux is just going to take them down. I'm like, surely this doesn't work, right? And the answer is it does not work. So Nina, because this early aggression did not get nearly enough done, finds herself down, staring down the barrel of a 65, excuse me, well, now a 60 supply lead. And it's not, again, we talked about how supplies can be deceiving, but this is a scary, scary timing. She's got one Vulcan. It's debilitated. Two Vulcans, they're debilitated and they're lifted as well, so it doesn't really matter. They're not able to get the damage they want to get done. Shield goes down on one of them. Certainly that is the case, but it's dead anyways. And Nina now down 100 supply. Vulcans continue to get lifted. Vulcans continue to get dropped, and Nina in the macro game, well, not really a macro game. She went one base Hornet, didn't really work out for her, is going to get taken out of this game. Oh, by the way, the Bobs in the main base, they're massacred. The Bobs in the natural also kind of getting massacred. And the third, you guessed it, slowly getting massacred. It's the Great Massacre popping out for Nina in this game number 4. And just not quite able to get her footing on the map, which means that Aureil is going to have the opportunity to test his mettle against Mixu in the winner's match. Means that Nina's going to play MSRM in the loser's match, most likely, unless there's some insane comeback that I'm not sure is really going to happen. You lift me up, you drop me down, you spin me all around. The Vulcans are technically a pretty good answer. I mean, you see this army is fairly low. It's just not enough. Nina was not able to grow after her opening enough, didn't kill off enough prisms, and Nina has now left the game, which means that Aureil has won. Of course, if you like this, you want more Stormgate action, make sure you go hit the sub button on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live, and I'll see you next time.